Hey guys, Justin Tyler here, coming from C2E2 for Newsarama.com. I am being diminutized, if I can invent a word, by Mr. J. Michael Straczynski.
Diminutized.
That's fine to make
Security.
that word? Yeah. Oh, you don't deal with made-up words?
No.
Oh, well,
That's in my contract.
You're tough. Yeah, you're very tough. So let's talk. It's like interviewing a mountain. Let's talk about Before Watchmen.
Mountains don't talk, you know.
Yeah, I've interviewed plenty.
Very hard interview.
Well, your arms are crossed. You may turn into a mountain.
If I climb up now, you're screwed.
Yeah, I know. Well,
what was the question again?
Before Watchmen,
Yes.
a couple of books you're doing for that.
Yes.
Nite Owl and Doc Manhattan.
Correct.
Tell me about Nite Owl. What are we going to learn? What do we see?
Well, they're both origin stories in a way. The first book, Nite Owl, deals with why this young kid decided he wanted to be the follow-up to the original Nite Owl, what his background was, what propelled him, and what chased him toward that destiny, and how he got the money to become as wealthy as he did, to be able to build all that cool stuff. There's also a personal story, a love story. There's one single panel in the original Watchmen book where Silk Spectre finds a framed photograph of a superhero woman called Twilight Lady. And she says to Nite Owl, what's this, Dan? And he gets all embarrassed and sheepish. Oh, no, nothing. I arrested her once. Let's go. And I thought, well, there's a story there, certainly. Who was this person? So I get into that in the book as well.
So your process was sort of looking through Watchmen and finding little bits like that to sort of go backwards and explore them to lead up to where Watchmen begins?
Yeah, it's kind of dancing between the raindrops. We all sat there in New York with copies of Watchmen in front of us like Bible study on Sunday, going through it to say, okay, where can we have our own vision but be true and loyal to what was originally done? So it was an effort to be faithful to the original, but at the same time say, okay, what don't we know that we could talk about?
What was it like in that room with a book that's so honored and put on a pedestal in the comic book industry to try to find those little holes where you could be like, here it is, this is what I want to go with? Was it tense?
It wasn't tense per se, but to see people like Brian Azzarello and Len Wein and all these brilliant guys, and me, holding up the rear, working through it and coming up with stories that really expand the Watchmen universe and break new ground without fertilizing it. Yeah, very important. And for instance, on the Dr. Manhattan book, in that case, I am both telling the story of John and how he became a scientist and where he came from originally, which was Germany during the war. I mean, look at his age, and you realize he was actually as a child in Germany. His father was from there, and they escaped together. Paralleling that with the story of Dr. Manhattan, in the sense that of all the characters in the Watchmen universe, he's both the most powerful and the most powerless, because he can do anything he wants, but by virtue of being a quantum observer, he can see past, present, and future. He knows all of his decisions before he makes them. He's done everything, and free will goes out the door. Why, when Kennedy's assassinated in the original book, she says, why didn't you stop it? Well, it already happened, from his point of view. So it makes him both powerful and powerless at the same time. So I get into the whole question of what is free will in the quantum universe.
So you have between Nite Owl and Dr. Manhattan, a character that's driven by obsession to become something, and a person who has no obsession, who's lost sort of his humanity.
Well, and he has to kind of rediscover his humanity and what makes him want to do things. What the best part, though, of those two characters is that you have the bookends of the Watchmen universe, the most powerful with Dr. Manhattan, and in many ways the most powerless or one of the most vulnerable, certainly, in Nite Owl, who has great gadgets, but at the end of the day, he's just a guy. He's a geek like the rest of us.
Did you choose those two to focus on?
I started off with Dr. Manhattan, and there was a question about Nite Owl being available. Then became available, I grabbed him.
Awesome. Were there any storylines that went around that room when you guys were all sort of conceiving of Before Watchmen that just didn't make it? That you liked or that loved?
There were a few, but I can't tell you what they are.
Oh, of course not.
It's secret.
It's secret because that could happen. Oh, yeah.
You never know.
No one.
The whole comedian transvestite story could still happen. You never know.
Boom. That's a reveal. I was talking to Adam, and
that's why he was so angry all the time. His stockings could never get lined up straight in the back, and he was always pissed off about it. The comedian didn't make a very good transvestite.
Oh. Wow, well, there's a big reveal for you transvestite fans out there. I was talking to Adam Hughes about your Dr. Manhattan. He said everything was so planned out. Is that the way you sort of always work on your scripts when you're developing them for the writer?
Yeah, I like to know where I'm going. Some people can wing it. I really can't. And because this is a story that covers like 40 years of time and delves a lot into the mathematics of quantum physics, I felt I really can't rely on making stuff up because I'm not that good. I'm not that smart. Everyone thinks they can do a better job than God, but very few can handle the math. And that's the position I found myself in. So, I write very tight scripts.